Good day. Today's recording is going to be with the practice skills exam. And so what we're going to do is build out the topology. So looks like we need one router in 3 switches and then 3 PCs. So pay particular attention to fast Ethernet copper, gigabit copper, and then gigabit fiber. So this is not only the configuration part, but also the physical part. So go down here to your packet tracer. I'm going to check my version real quick. So help about. So I have version 8110022. So what I'm going to do is grab a PT router, empty. I'm just going to drag that out. And then I'm going to turn it off and I'm going to get myself a 1 CE Ethernet module, a 1 FE, 2 gigabit CGE, and then 1 gigabit fiber. And then you can see the physical differences of each connector. And then if you want to read the descriptions, they're down here. Turn the device back on. Now let's get a switch. So down on network devices, bottom row switches, we go to PT empty. I'm going to populate this and then we'll be able to use it for each switch. I'll just replicate it or copy paste. So once again, turn the device off. We need 1 CFE, 1 CGE, and then 1 gigabit. And then because this is a switch, let's throw in a couple extra gigabit just in case we need them. Okay, turn that back on. And then you could repeat the process, or what I'm going to do is just hold the control key and drag my switch and it will copy it and let go. Then I'll change the name back to 1. So then if we look at each switch, we now will see that they're identical. So switch 1 and switch 0 are populated with the same interfaces. So now we can just copy that again, rename it to 3. Okay, so now PC. We want to match up the interfaces. So this is supposed to be fast Ethernet copper. So let's go check that. So on our config, so we have fast Ethernet, so we don't have to change this one out. This one's good. Get another PC. Now this one we want to go to gigabit copper. So let's go in, turn the PC off, scroll down, drag out the interface card. So this is copper gigabit. Nope, see that's copper fiber. So 1 CGE is my copper. Okay, excuse me, and drag that in. Turn the PC on. And now we're looking for fiber. So if we drag another PC out, drag here and get a fiber module. And now we can do our connections. Your labels don't have to match like my gigabits in my fast Ethernet 01112131. So as long as they work, we're good. So let's connect up. So click on your connections, come copper straight through. I'm gonna do my PCs first. Fast Ethernet, and I want to find fast Ethernet. And you won't lose points for not connecting the right interface, but as long as they're in there, that's the more important. So I'm looking at it, can you change out interface cards to match technology? So then we need a fiber connection for this PC. So that's the yellow, orangish. And notice the connection actually looks different. Find the gigabit fiber. Grab another fiber while we're in this switch, connect the, see we ran out. So what we have to do now is go in this switch, add one more fiber module. So we're gigabit fiber module in. I did not plan accordingly. Oh, turn that PC, make sure you turn that switch on. Oh, there it goes. And then fiber. I was wondering why the PC and a switch, because it was booting actually. So go down to your fiber module and find the fiber module on the switch. I'm sorry, switch to router. Interface is down. We know why. So let's go straight through. This is supposed to be gigabit copper. So gigabit to gigabit. And now fast Ethernet. And I didn't put enough fast Ethernet in. Okay, so let's turn that off. Go to a fast Ethernet, drag it in. There's my fast Ethernet to fast Ethernet. Switch was booting, so you can see now that they're going through the green and amber state. All right, so now what we need to do is subnet. So let's look at our PDF, and the directions are right here. FA01 has 100 devices, and then gigabit 20 is 50 devices, and gigabit 30 is 28. So we will use VLSM. Our IP scheme is 2220/24. So open up the notepad, and then we want to start with how many devices. So we say, how many zeros does it take to get to 100? So if I go down here to my chart, 7 zeros to get to 100. So what do? Highlight 7 zeros, and then we convert the last zero. So the very first zero on the from the left to right, we convert to a 1. So we must go down here to this chart. So you've actually solved the problem at this point. We have all the questions answered. How many hosts or zeros do you need? 7 zeros or 100, right? So I'm just going to put 7 zeros. Where did the ones end at? 128. So that is your increment. Now that makes sense. I want to have 100 devices, but I'm going to give you 128 address space, 126 usable. So now what's the new subnet mask? Well, right here it is. You add up all the ones. So it's 128. So our IP starts at 0, 2220. So if we take 0 and we add the increment of 128, you get 128. So that is a next network address. Okay, so if this 0 is the first start and 128 is the next start of the network, where does the first network end? 127. Next problem, we need 50 devices. So we go down to the chart. Where do we get 50? Looks like 6 zeros. So what we want to do is go to our chart. I'm going to highlight 6 zeros. Now, what do we do with the 2 zeros not highlighted? We convert them to ones, which are network bits. So we've already solved the problem this quickly. So how many zeros? Would we say 5? 6. 6 zeros. Yeah, 6 and 2. 6 zeros, 2 ones. So what's my increment? So it looks like the 1 stopped on the 64. So our increment is 64. And the new subnet mask is 128 plus 64, which is 192. So we've solved this problem. So we go back at the top of the chart. It started at 128. And what is our increment? 64. So 128 plus 64 is 192. So review, network 0 ends at 127. Network 128 has to end at 191. So we're looking at our last network to solve, and it is 28 devices. So once again, go to your chart, Look up 28. How many zeros? 5. So we highlight 5 zeros, and then we turn the far left most zeros to ones. 1, 2, 3, and then 5 zeros. Once again, how many zeros? 5. Where did the 1 stop at? Well, let's do that. 1, 1, 1. So I add 128, 64, and 32. You should get 224. Increment is, what is the increment? Stopped on the 32. Yep, 32s. So the increment is 32. So with that being said, what do we do next? We go up here. We need to go 192 plus 32. That gets me up to 224. So if the third network starts at 192 and the fourth network starts at 224, 192 ends at 223. So we still have room here from 224 to 255 if we want to subnet even further. Okay, so we're going to leave that blank for now, but let's just look at network address is even, broadcast is odd. First usable IP is 1, last usable IP is 126. First network address is 128. Broadcast address is 191. First usable address is 129. Last usable address is 190. 192 is the network. 223 is the broadcast. 193 is the first usable. 222 is the last usable. And then we have our next network, which is at 224, and we can subnet that further. So at this point, I'm going to take this into my packet tracer. So copy that. And then let's put a little notation over here. Okay, and I do believe we're going to follow FA1/0. And the next network is gig 2/0. And the third is gig 4/0. All right, so at this point, I'm just going to go ahead and document. So I'm going to copy this. Not because I'm lazy, because I'm efficient. And I'm going to get me another note for this. So first usable IP is 1. And what was this subnet mask? This was a /25, right? Let's go back and check. Let's go to the first network. 8 plus 8 plus 8 plus 1, so 25. Okay, good. Just a little review for myself so I don't get lost. All right, so I'm going to copy this by just using the control key. Now, we know we can't use 1, so that's use .2. And we'll just do switch. Not switch, but the interface VLAN 1. That's a mistake a lot of us make when we try to configure a switch. We try to go to interface, like fast Ethernet or gigabit. And then I'm going to copy again down to the PC. And let's make this the last usable. And I believe this one ended at 127, so this is 126. All right, so this network is done. So let's identify this network. Okay, so that is one broadcast domain. DC up into there. Okay. So let's do the next network, which is 20, which is coming through here. So I'm just going to kind of copy the first one here. We'll put it right here and we'll say, edit this to be gigabits 20. And this network started at let's just bring our notepad over here so we can kind of keep a reference point. All right, that makes it a little easier for me. So I'm on this network here. So it started at 128. So this can be 129. And the subnet mask is 26. Let's verify that real quick. 8 plus 8 plus 8 and 2, 26. Okay, increments. All right, so now copy this down. I like to copy because it keeps the pattern. So 130, and sometimes it saves a mistake. And then the last usable, let's see, this ended at 191, right? 191. So let's make it 190. That wasn't a question. I think it maybe sounded like one, but no. Okay, so there you go, 190. It's the last usable. And off to, let's define another broadcast domain. So this interface down. It's so hard to draw those. So there's your second broadcast domain. Now we're off to the last network here, and that is going to be gigabit 40. So we'll just copy that, edit this, and I believe this started at 192. So this will be 193. And I believe the subnet mask is 27. And I'll verify that in a second. Subnet mask is 255.255, so 24 and 3, 27. Okay. Now we copy. So we can't use 193, we'll use 194. And I believe this network ended at 223. 223, so it has to be an even number, so 222. 22. Is that correct? 223, yeah, 222 with the 27. Okay. So then once again, we have another broadcast domain down here. So every time you have an interface, it's going to be a broadcast domain. And we know broadcast domains will not forward any broadcast beyond the interface. So green will not forward broadcast to the other colors and vice versa. All right, so now the easy part is just to configure a router and switch. So router should be SSH, your basic configs, and same as switch 0, and SSH should work to switch 0 and router. And then make sure you put an IP on switch 1 and switch 3 and put IPs, and everything should ping. So if you need more help with configuring, either refer back to one of our previous videos or contact me. So this concludes this video.